This is split second. No wait, we need a do-over. This is split second. Oh yeah, that's definitely Split Second. Split Second is one of my favorite racing games. And today, I'll be diving into and explaining why that is. Split Second is an adrenaline-filled game, featuring all sorts of crashes, wrecks, and explosions. Split Second isn't a very well-known game, but it is a great game nonetheless. And in my opinion, if you've never played Split Second before, but at least somewhat like arcade racing games, it's worth to give it a try even by today's standards. Split Second is about a show being broadcast on the TV, the same show you compete in. The show has 12 episodes in total, with every episode of the show having 4 regular events, 1 event locked that requires you to wreck enough rivals in the same episode to unlock, and 1 final race which requires enough points from placements in other races to qualify, totaling 6 different events per episode. The points are calculated like this: first place gets 50 points, and every place below subtracts 10 points from the previous placement. For example, second place gets 40 points and third place gets 30 points. Points are not only needed to qualify and attend the final race, but to also acquire new and better cars. Playing an event unlocks the event and the map to be played in quick play, and cars are also tied to a save file. So before playing online, which you can't even do, at least on PC, it's recommended to finish the career first. The car roster is pretty diverse. All cars have their own personality, and there are 4 stats that show that: speed, drift, strength, and acceleration. Speed measures the top speed of your car. Drift measures how controllable and grippy the car is. The more the car is towards the drift, the grippier and more controllable are the drifts. Strength measures the car's resistance to power plays, mainly explosion-based ones, since they spin the car out of control. Cars with more strength will resist explosions better and won't be flung from them as hard. And acceleration measures how fast the car reaches top speed. You would expect that the cars will excel at only one of the stats, but most cars excel in 2 or 3 stats, with only 1 or 2 stats being lackluster. I categorize cars as such. There are mainly 4 types of cars: fast cars, grippy cars, balanced cars, and strong cars. In my opinion, the strong cars are the most redundant, as explosions are easy to avoid and taking a faster car is always more satisfying. Fast cars are my favorite. Those are cars that have the excel and speed stats to the max. They are fast but easier to crash. Balanced cars are mostly drifty cars that have all the stats as mediocre and don't excel in any category, but are well rounded for any situation. And grippy cars have mostly either a mediocre or lacking speed and acceleration stats, but are stronger and driftier. Though there are some grippy cars later on in the career that also excel in speed and acceleration stats. Another great part of the game is the OST. The soundtrack of the game, in my opinion, is absolutely perfect for the game, even though it may not be as great when put on its own without the adrenaline-inducing gameplay, but mixed with the gameplay it creates a masterpiece. For example, here are some of my favorite songs. Split Second's gameplay is unique and engaging. Instead of your regular nitros that you have in other racing games, Split Second has a power play meter that lets you interact with the environment to wreck other racers ahead, with different tools ranging from explosions, bombs, exploding cars and buildings, to whole airplanes, bridges, and towers being collapsed onto your opponents. The way you fill up the bar is doing all sorts of racing and dangerous moves, such as other games would give you nitros for. Drifting, drafting, close calls with power plays, and drift overtakes all grant you power play meter. There are two different types of power plays, 1 bar and 3 bar ultimate power plays. 1 bar power plays range from explosions that might wreck from 1 to a few cars, unless all the cars are together, then you might wreck the whole competition, to shortcuts that can be opened for a short period of time. But be careful, others close enough behind you may also try to use them. There are also some stronger 1 bar power plays that can be used only once, such as explosion-propelled cars or buses. While explosions and bombs are not that powerful, they can be used multiple times in a single race. 3 bar power plays range from extremely decimating plane crashes and huge truck wipeouts to route changers that change a moderate part of the track, creating a new route. Those also range from dam explosions to skyscrapers falling to bridges being blown up. In one instance, a ship can be power played twice to change the route 2 times in a single race. There are also 5 types of races. Normal races, where you have to set the number of laps to race, and whoever crosses the finish line of the final lap first wins. Detonator, where you have to be faster than a set time while going down the track trying not to crash, with power plays around you being triggered. Elimination, where you race against other opponents and the timer goes down, and each time it reaches 0, the person in the last place is eliminated, until only one racer is left standing. Survival, where there are trucks dropping explosive barrels and you have to avoid them as you overtake the trucks. The more trucks you overtake, the bigger is the score you get. Airstrike, where you have to avoid rockets getting shot out of a helicopter. The more you avoid, the bigger the score you get, and you have 3 lives. And finally there's Air Revenge. It's just like Airstrike, but you have to fight back against the helicopter, filling up your power meter to deflect rockets and take the heli down. The gameplay might seem very simple from what I've described, and against AI racers, it more or less is. But racing against real players, you have to time everything perfectly, and you can't just wreck the player in first without any repercussions. Because the only power play the player in first can use is a shortcut, more likely than not they have a full triple bar of power play ready. And if you wreck them, that means that the whole bar is going to be used on you. So when nearing the finish line, you have to keep in mind that wrecking them too early will result in your loss. But at the finish line, most of the power plays are more tame. Explosions that push you to the side, but hardly wreck you. When combined with another explosion, that's when it becomes dangerous. So you have to be prepared to wreck the lad in the first place, but if you hold out for too long, there will only be one explosion to try and wreck them in the end. That is all turned up to 11 when you play the elimination game mode, in which the driver that is the last gets eliminated when the timer hits 0. The unique thing in that game mode is that the finish line doesn't mean anything, the timer does. And you could be anywhere on the track with any type of strong power plays around the corner. That would ensure your victory, but who is faster? You or the timer? If you don't time the power play right, the timer will reach 0 with you in the back and it's game over. Those situations are exactly how Split Second engages the player into the game. Sadly, the PC servers have shut down and the only way to play multiplayer is through LAN. However, the game's career still delivers and is definitely worth a try. With all that being said, Split Second is an outstanding game filled with adrenaline, a great soundtrack, and is a very positive experience in my eyes. This video is made just so more people know about the game and maybe would even give it a try. Thank you for watching this video, hope you liked it, and enjoy the rest of your day.